What's going on? Move the Mouse here, back in City Skylines, the town of Springdale. Let's play Season 4, Episode number 24, Take 2. We had some technical difficulties on the last recording, and unfortunately, I did a little bit of stuff, but I'll review it. So my audio cut out, my microphone cut out like 10 minutes into the recording. I didn't realize until after about a half hour of footage. So some of it was some time lapse, some of it was some waiting around, so you didn't miss too much. I wanted to kind of recap what's happened in the city, and since then we've got up to 193,000. I don't think we're gonna hit 200,000 this episode unless we see some sort of miraculous growth. Let's go ahead and throw it on 3 times speed though, just in case we see something. Let's take a look at our zoning before we start. You can tell I'm a little disheartened because I just wrapped up recording 24 and had started to record an episode for some of the cinematics. And yeah, realized that my mic wasn't working. Went back, checked the last recording, and sure enough, it was dead through most of that. So, not sure how that got in there, but let's move some people in by the highway. They might complain about the noise, but we might need the residential space, and this is a good spot for it. So. All right, so we got a little bit of room there. This has filled out quite nicely, you can see. We've got very little residential space left, but that should meet the needs for now. I was recording some cinematic shots, and it panned by a couple fires, of course. I also turned on, for those cinematics, I will probably pause in the middle of this video to record some, but I've got the day-night cycle turned off, or rather, the walking into day mode turned off. So basically it is getting darker and you start to see the shadows drift a bit. So I'll be cutting back and forth in a cinematic mode because it does look so different. When you're walking in day mode, you're basically getting noon all the time. And now you start to see these shadows cast on the city. And as the sun starts to drop, you know, that shadow moves to the building next to it. It's just, I think it looks so nice, even on Xbox with the flatter textures. There's something that's so beautiful about this game when you see, and let's see, are we on full 3 times speed? We are. We want to keep that growth happening in the background, but it's so nice kind of when you see the city and the lights start to come on exactly like that. Great timing. We haven't really seen much of this city at night. I tend to do all my building in day mode because it makes it a lot easier to see on YouTube. But this is one of those things that is so nice to get to see the city at night. I'll actually spare you some of that this episode because I'm gonna cut back and forth and record some cinematics, and then when the sun's coming back up, we can go back through our info views. But let me grab some cinematics here because it is really beautiful. But let's watch that sunset over our city. As the lights start to come on, you can see where the green neighborhoods are versus the less energy efficient residences. But as we see the sun start to fade over the horizon, really get to see this city at night for one of the first times, I think, on this series. Maybe we saw it once before. Let's zoom in and see our Central Park. Looks so nice with the lit up footpaths. Do we want to see a quick walkthrough? We probably do, right? We've got the deer. We'll go about to the halfway point with the deer because I know there's somebody else that wants to make an appearance this episode. Relocated from last season. The cougar has not made many appearances. I don't think the doe made enough appearances. The Springdale doe, the official town mascot here, certainly not as many as the cougar did in the last series for the regulars. But man, does this? I think this park just really pops. Like it looks weird, right? It looks weird when you're flying overhead and you have all those footpaths. Like it doesn't look that pretty on the overhead, but man, I think this has such an amazing look. Have this giant park with the skyscrapers all around it. Looks just beautiful. I think so. I mean, maybe I'm biased because I created it, but so for the second half of the park, here she is, returning from Santa Rico. It's the Santa Rico Hill Cougar. Violently displaced in the events of season 3, where we saw just absolute mass destruction rain down on Santa Rico. R.I.P. But the Santa Rica Hill Cougar is back. She's taken the park by storm here in Springdale. I really like this. I like this park so much. Let's go back to the overhead and you can see what I'm saying. Like it's not necessarily that beautiful when you look at it from up here. But man, is it fun on foot and seeing the city built up around it and this little slice of nature that's just trying to cling hold in this giant concrete jungle. Ooh, amusement park at night. Haven't seen this actually either. This is new. Somebody else is going to walk around for this one though. Where is he? There he is. He does the cartwheels. Look at this place is packed. This is crazy. See, this actually looks really cool at night, and we haven't seen this yet. Certainly not this packed and this not on fire. This place likes to burst into flames. Maybe we'll see that this episode again. The carousel, I think, has a really nice look. This thing looks great. Let's see the House of Horrors. I think looks a little bit creepier at night now. Yeah, very different to see this at night. Oh, see, I never noticed the monsters popping out of the building in the daylight. I don't know if they do that in daylight or just at night. I think we missed fireworks too. So the city park actually does weekly fireworks. I don't know if it's every night in game. Yeah, this looks a lot better at night. The silhouettes in the windows, the monsters popping out at you. I'm glad we got to see this. Let's go check out our roller coaster. Ferris wheel. The amusement park looks pretty nice at night. Let's see what our other parks look like. We've got the Central Park objects over here. I displaced this into what is kind of the stripped down nature reserve, which I think makes more sense in an actual city than kind of how I had it initially set up for some of the tutorial stuff. Just to drop kind of all the objects in there. Airport looking pretty good at night. Got a ton of tourists. This thing is just so busy all day long. And the nice thing about plopping it here, a couple things. They'll either hop right back on the plane if they are international travelers. It looks like we've got a lot of people visiting from inside the city because they're all cutting over here to get on the train, which takes them kind of around a beltway on the outside part of the city. So just to show you this real quick, I'm not sure if I highlighted this in the series or not, but I did a quick train line here. I forget sometimes what I edited out. So it goes to the outer suburbs along the coast. There is a stop up here by the zoo. And then it sneaks back under to this upper residential and office area. And up here. So stop at the amusement park as well. So it kind of runs an outer belt. We don't have any outside train connections on this map. So those are all people that are, you know, coming to visit the space elevator from inside the city and then leaving to head out via train. So that is a ton of traffic that's not on the roads, which is great. All these people you see walking this inner way could either be coming from the metro or coming from International Airplane, and they're going to go visit the space elevator there. So very cool kind of what's happening there. The last couple info views we didn't go through on the last episode. We'll cover that when it's daylight, but let's get another look at our city at night. Let me grab some more cinematics. I'll be right back. All right, and we're back. The sun is rising over our city. I got some great shots of it in cinematic mode last night. If you want to check them out, though, you're going to have to tune back in to Monday's episode, which will be really mostly cinematic. Just a quick intro and outro from me, and then kind of leave you with some shots of the city of Springdale until we return to it eventually down the road. We'll be saving it. We will be making a return. But let's look at the last couple little bits of infrastructure this episode. And I think where I'd kind of cut off was around the garbage and pollution aspect. So let's just take a quick look back through those, work our way down the list. There's a bunch we can skip over because we're not dealing with disasters and things like that. But let's make sure we're leaving the city in a semi-decent spot. So, garbage. We've got good processing status. We're still in the green there. We've got good coverage. Get sidetracked here. Empty some cemeteries. We are on the rise of another death wave. I think I said it before, but this is going to be the biggest one yet. So we're definitely going to need to keep an eye on that. But working our way through, we've got good garbage coverage. It's spread out all over the city. If we switch over to pollution, you can see we've got a little bit of pollution in the recycling centers themselves. Obviously, you can see where our industry park is, but it doesn't really spread it beyond the street, right? It's just in that zone. It barely makes it across the street before it completely tapers off thanks to the Eden project. So we've got almost no ground pollution, very little, and zero water pollution. Even though we're dumping sewage out here, it's basically pure water comes back into the system. We're fine. You can see the buildings have the tiniest tint. They're tiny, a little bit darker, the buildings themselves, but the water output is totally fine, and we have 0% water pollution, even right where we're pouring sewage out. So upgrade those when you can. Back into those info views again. The only place you see that immediately around the recycling centers, and the prisoners don't seem to mind because they could get out anytime they wanted. They could just walk through the gate and leave, but they choose not to, so the pollution can't be bothering them that bad. Wait, I was gonna say, did they fix the fences? Of course not. No. Still can't jump in the top. The top's defenses are very secure. Doesn't do much if we just want to walk out, though. Again, so apparently the pollution's not bothering them that much because they can leave whenever they wanted. Quick look at wind. We're not using it for power, but something that I wanted to show you is basically where I mounted things up before. So this is actually an experiment I did in the last episode when the audio wasn't working. Let me show you real quick. If you go into the landscaping tool, and let's lower this piece here in the middle, this ridge line that I raised up in the last episode. But just to show you, if we go into wind power, see that strip is not as dark. You're not going to get as good wind coverage there. But that literally just changes because of the height in a lot of cases. If we wanted to bring this whole ridge up, like I had done before again in the last episode, you'll see that right away you've got better wind coverage. So if you put turbines down, you can affect that just by making a little mountain, depositing some extra soil, getting a little bit better wind coverage, maybe off on the edge of the map. If you don't want to run power lines up here like I did, you can use that landscaping to actually improve your wind turbine coverage. And again, you can see that in terrain height. The darker the green, the higher it is. And generally that will be better for wind coverage too, but it also depends. Like wind needs to come through. So you can't be in a valley but up high. Maybe you need to be up on the very top of the ridge line for the best wind coverage. But terrain height, we don't really need to worry about that. We will need to worry about noise pollution a little bit, but with good healthcare coverage, you can see that, you know, we've got these spots that are really bad, right? And they might be next to residential areas. All the commercial parks are really loud. This is all residential. We've got a broken metro line apparently I need to go look at. But you can see, like, there's a lot of noise, but nobody's complaining about noise pollution because we've got great healthcare coverage and we've got the monument running. I also seem to think that there's maybe some new bugs with with some of the healthcare stuff. It seems really easy to keep your population healthy, but they had been complaining about noise pollution in most of my builds at some point or another. And either I've done just a good enough job with healthcare coverage that it immediately solves the issue, or I have a feeling I got lucky and have some sort of glitch. But noise pollution, definitely something that you want to consider. Try and isolate when you can. We've got some spots, and the airport and things are totally unavoidable. But if you zone right and use things like, did I use the sound barrier? Yeah, sound barrier highways are there. So little things like that you can do pretty good with. Now, we didn't really focus on little things like that. You can do a pretty good job managing sound effectively. And, you know, again, it's not ideal in some spots, but it's also not terribly spilling over into the residential areas. You can see they have a lot lighter traffic road usage as well too, the way we've set some of these up. Like this middle area is all residential, and although it is busy on the intersections on either side of it, it lightens up quite a bit in the area because of the way that traffic is routing around. So as long as you're doing that, you're in pretty good shape. We didn't really worry about natural resources this map. It was all about building up a downtown urban area, but we certainly could do some maybe some forestry in the Chirpy land. That might help stop it from burning down. We'll cut down some of the trees before they get to burn. And then, you know, you have other things like farming. Maybe we could drop in a little industrial area somewhere when Industries comes out, and we'll revisit this map. But it wasn't something that we were really worried about. We've created a nice forestry industry possibility in our central park. Planted some trees up here. You could, in theory, spin up a forestry industry wherever you wanted, like in the middle of an amusement park. Totally fine. Maybe that would be fun just to do that. Wasted some farming land here on a cloverleaf and a three-way intersection, the highways. Had to make room for progress. Back in info views, let's see what we've got left. Not too much to talk about. We've got a couple areas that aren't district off, so if you're a regular commenter and want a district, now's probably the time to ask for it. You'll have to wait to see next revisit to Springdale, but at some point we'll name some of these last few districts that aren't covered. So if you've got ideas, let me know in the comments down below. We didn't worry about heating this map. It's a balmy 70.5 degrees out. So not something that we had to worry about. We will do that, obviously, if we do snowfall. We also didn't worry about any of the disaster stuff. So there's no radio coverage. There's no earthquake detection. We don't have to worry about things like escape routes or destruction, except destruction that imminently happens when this thing burns to the ground every few episodes. So that will be interesting to see. I'll try and remember to come back to that next time it burns down. All those buildings collapse. They're searching for survivors. We'll see if the destruction picked up there. Tourism wise, you've got two kind of things to worry about. Where the tourists are. This is broken up here right now. You should see the tourism on the import export. For some reason that doesn't seem to be working. It does work down here though in the tourism, where you can see again where people are coming into, and then the attractiveness of those particular buildings is affected by things like park maintenance buildings, but also Chirpwick provides a bonus to all unique buildings, so it's making them that much more attractive. Make sure you have good metro coverage around those attractive and foresty buildings, and you'll reduce a lot of traffic, so have good bus networks. See here we've got train and metro coverage for the stadium, science center. The lighter is, I think all the monuments are spots that are visited too, right? Maybe just the elevator. Actually a tourist spot in theory. Could be wrong on that. I thought the monuments all attracted visitors though. Maybe not. Maybe not. Maybe I'm incorrect on that. Let me know in the comments what you think. Tours. We did throw in some walking tours and things like that. Some of these are really easy because I put a bunch of the uniques right next to another on this strip. That, yeah, that's where the casino is. The infamous casino that has been so generous. They even donated to the charity stream a couple weeks back. That was so nice of them. So we really appreciate their patronage, support of charities, and we will do our best not to have any accidents unless that support discontinues in the future. So thank you to the casino for contributing to great charitable causes. If anyone doesn't know what I'm talking about, I regularly threaten the casino, just jokingly, extorting some money out of them in tax dollars. And on the charity stream we did a little while back, we hit $1,000 first of all, which was absolutely amazing for able gamers. But somebody donated in the name of the Santa Vegas Casino. That's the PC build, as I regularly threaten it there too with the bulldozer. Somebody donated in their name to a great cause. So thank you for that. One, for your charitable gift, and two, for making it in the name of the Santa Vegas Casino, which was a nice one of my favorite donations of the night, even though it was only Even though it was only $5, it was one of the standout ones coming from the casino. So let me know. I don't know if it ever came up who did that in the comments, but let me know if anyone caught who that was, because that was one of my favorites. We dropped it in a couple episodes ago. We dropped it in, I think, last episode, but I wanted to check in on the road maintenance. So most roads are boosted right now. Got good coverage. They get pretty much everywhere. Maybe a little light over here. But we don't have bad traffic problems over there. Everywhere we have traffic problems, we're boosting the performance of the road, making it a little bit smoother, hopefully improving the traffic flow a little bit, but buying us a little bit more time. I didn't think we were going to hit this episode, but I might have to do a little time lapse because we're at 197, and it would be so great to leave this city with 200,000 people. My previous record on console, I think, was 179. Cracked it, hit 180. Was super excited about that. Didn't think that before this this recording of this season was done that we'd hit 200,000, but we are so close right now. So let's time lapse it. Let's meet some of our needs. Some basic zoning. We'll fill in up here. I think we can afford to. And for the most part, businesses over here have been surviving pretty well. So let's see if we can make this relatively parallel. Keep the intersections not too close together. Let's go fix those real quick. Make sure things are flowing nicely through here. Nice thing is I don't have to turn the lights off because it was already turned off from the other intersections. No, I do. All right, we don't need to worry about this. Apparently I have some more maintenance to do. Let's zone off. I came down way further than I needed to. We can probably get rid of this extension. Here at one point for some reason or another. We'll do that in office. We'll do the rest in commercial. I do suspect that some of these businesses over here will have some problems, but for the most part, they've been surviving well. So hopefully it won't be too bad. But it's ideally not where I want to cram in. I just want to meet some of this demand right now. Get people coming in still. We're not making a lot on money, and I haven't really looked at my budget in a while, but I also am not too worried about it because we've got 11 million sitting in the bank. But the economics of the city is definitely something that we got in a return to it. Maybe that'd be fun for some tutorials to kind of dive in to analyzing the budget and the info views, things like that. Looking at our policies, what can we afford to turn on? What has long-term returns? Some are, kind of immediate investments, like electric cars and things like that, which kind of settle down the budget later on, but you take a massive hit for it first. And then some of the city planning options, we can probably go through that and really take a look at our expenses in detail. I also have the taxes down. That's right, I forgot about that. Down to 8%, and that's a considerable amount of money that we're losing out on from just residential taxes, bumping up to 12%. That would make a huge dent in our budget. We've got the medical budget cranked constantly also. And now that we're playing a day-night mode, I might want to look at that. But, hey, free money. We'll definitely take a look at some of the income and expenses, and that might be a better kind of breakdown in a separate video rather than even a Let's Play. We'll kind of talk through those things. But let's see if we can do another quick time lapse here. I'll let things keep growing. I'll let things kind of keep building in the background here. We do want to find a couple little pockets of residential space, though, because we're going to run out of room to grow, and then that demand's going to crop up. Where can we get another little neighborhood in? Should we do something? Should we do another street up here by the highway? Might be a quick, cheap way to do it. Then I'll get some more nighttime shots. Case. Extend this down here. Let's extend it on either side of that neighborhood. Do big pocket of residential back there. It's not ideal. It's next to some commercial. It's near the highway. But we can kind of move and shift some neighborhoods around when we come back and revisit the city. Maybe redesign some stuff. Knock some people out to move them back in a slightly different way and try and make things more efficient down the road. But just to try and hit 200,000, let's give people some room to move in. Let them move in along this strip on the highway also. And you know what? It's going to be noisy, but do it. That's zonable space. I think I just never did because I don't want to create traffic on here. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. This is just bad enough where this is going to be one of the first problems that we need to address from a traffic perspective, because this is going to start backing up onto the highway. You have to look at that. I think I've said it before. That's definitely one of the intersections. Look at how do we kind of shift people around a little bit. 198, 546. So unfortunately, to get some cinematics, let me throw this in one-time speed. I'm gonna get some cinematics. We might actually miss the counter ticking over. But let's look at one last sunset over the city. Let's get it from maybe a slightly different angle than last time. See the space elevator there and the airplanes in the background. So while we see one last sunset, this city of Springdale, I will shift to record some. I'll shift to record some more cinematics. Then hopefully in the morning, see on one-time speed if it makes a difference. Hopefully in the morning we will have 200,000 population. So let me grab some cinematic shots and we'll be right back with my new record population on console, 200,000. So I started to record a couple seconds of it, and then I thought, you know what? Somebody's probably going to be mad at me in the comments. I can record nighttime cinematics anytime. We can't watch it tick over to 200,000 every episode. So we're back. So let's all sit patiently in real time watching the 198,000 tick over to 200,000 in real time. I'm just going to let it wait. No, I'm just kidding. I'll time lapse it. Hold on. We'll be right back when it's very close to 200,000. Had to jump into my budget there real quick. I had not modified my nighttime budgets, and we were spending a ton of money on power that we don't need thanks to the fusion power plant monument. All right, so back to the time lapse. 198,949. So close. We'll be right back, and I think that's a great way to cap off episode 24 of this season of City Skylines. BRB. All right, we are getting so close. It's been going up and down. 199.5, 199.4, 199.6, 199.5. We are at 199,773. It is slowly but steadily climbing. And we're going to see it happen very soon. And I'm trying to keep an eye out for what building crops up last. I definitely want to rename that one. I want to see it. That building just leveled up right there. 199,995. Come on. 982. Come on, we're there. 200,000 right here. Yes. I'm going to pause it. That is my record on console right there. 200,058 people in the city of Springdale. What a great city to do it in. So for those of you that have been fans of the channel for a while, this one was built strictly with the intention of building a central park, and it was because I was collaborating with Paradox Interactive. So I started building up a massive city so that I would be ready to go and have everything else unlocked when the Park Life DLC hit. And that's what this city was all about. So I'm glad to say that this is the biggest city I've built now officially on Xbox at 200,000, and we'll definitely come back to it and see how big it gets. That's what she said. But basically, I think that's a fantastic way to leave off our city here. Let me get you one more nighttime shot in episode 24 here of our giant Central Park there. Moon off in the distance. What a fun city this has been. So as the moon sets for the first and last time this series, I just want to say thank you to everybody in the comments, everybody on the Discord. Join that Discord, join a lot of like-minded fans of the channel and of City Skylines. We have some pretty fun discussions over there, especially after and surrounding the live streams. Follow me on Twitter as well. Find out about all the stupid gaming news that I retweet over there. And thanks for your continued support here on YouTube as well. Every like, comment, share, minute of watch time helps the channel and is greatly appreciated. So this has been a tremendously fun city to kind of build with all of you and input. We did some polls, and we will continue to do that in the next build. So start by letting me know in the comments down below what you want to see. Do you want to see a smaller mountain town? Do you want to see snowfall? Do you want to see something like an island build? Or do you want to see something kind of more large European city with a lot less grid? There's lots of different ways we could go. Also want to do some tutorials. I know it's sort of weird, but the sun is rising behind me because we're watching the moon set. So let's switch our view over here and just say thank you again one more time to all the patrons, all the supporters, everybody in the comments. This has been, again, a really fun city this season, and hopefully we'll have some more fun in the next one. We will be saving Springdale, don't worry, we will return to it, and if you tune in on Monday, there will be a fun kind of cinematic flyby of some of the stuff. And please tell me someone sees that. As I'm doing my outro and the cinematic, what happens? The industry is going to burst into flames. So, of course, it would not be Move the Mouse episode without something like that happening. So, if you did enjoy this video, likes, comments, shares all help the channel and are greatly appreciated. If you're new here, subscribe, hit the bell to get notifications. And until the next one, this is Move the Mouse, signing off.